quick run on the hand. I fully 3D printed the handouts. I was going to use the bolts that I printed with it, but they're fairly stiff. I noticed that if you work them for a little bit, they start to get, a little bit looser. But I'm thinking I'll just trade out the steel rods for those. The fingers themselves are actually not too bad. I had some issue with the middle fingers, though it was constantly flicking me off before. But now it's getting a little better. I've run those actually just using fishing line to each joint to have a plethora of what would you call these? Like tendons. The part that connects the joint to the muscle. For the muscles, I'll be using these servo motors, which control each joint individually. This guy as well. They're not screwed. The servo motors aren't screwed, or the heads of these servos are not screwed on yet. So I'm gonna be a little gentle here. I don't want to go too fast. Yeah, see that guy popped off. This is again the imoov hand, but I did not go with the imoov wrist. I ended up printing my own wrist, and I am going to embed the motors on the outside and then add a sheath over that. That way you can. That way you can more easily work on the inside of the heads, and I can have the wires run individually, separate from the tendons, I guess I would call them, and separate from the heads. That way you avoid all that clutter. I really hate ending up with a lot of clutter. This is going to be a mess regardless of what I do. On the final design I'm going to reprint, I'll probably have a more organized layout for these motor heads. But I kind of do like the asymmetry. You guys can tell me what you think about that. Instead of having it, perfectly lined up on each one and designing the wrist so it, has a perfect circumference running from point to point. I kind of like the semi-random locations of them. And I think I'm going to do that anyways. Like I said, it's going to be a case over this. And having them... I might end up just having them staggered. But we'll see. Right now, I'm literally cutting holes through each one. And then connecting it in. The doors themselves are run by servo motors. Again, prototyping, so I'm not too worried about how this looks there. They close fairly well. I'm not going to close well right now because they have to close in proper order. Because of all of these guys on there. But they're not horrible. There you go. Yeah, that's just part of one of the servo motors heads. Since, like I said, I haven't screwed them into place yet. There you go. Just open everything up. This guy would be here. And he controls, let's see. Yep, the ring finger. Yeah, putting them back on is actually incredibly easy. That's why I haven't really tried to screw them in yet. Because I might want to modify the locations, and I don't want to have to work with that. And you can see all these joints working pretty well. I think I was having issues with, not that joint. Where are you at? Maybe it was this one. Nope. Maybe this guy. It was the ring finger knuckle joint. Oh, that's the tip for the ring finger. Is this the knuckle joint? Nope. They're working fine now. It was a little sticky before. But she's working pretty well now. It's a little tacky still. Well, that's actually probably due to the ring finger. Much like your hand, the tendons are kind of hard to just individually control single points, like just doing the tip of the pinky. By itself. It's somewhat hard just because it controls or that part of the muscle runs through, or that part of the tendon runs through other parts of the muscle. And that makes it so that inherently, you know, they inherently interfere with each other. That is this guy. So let's lay it flat. There you go. And this is the head of the pinky. Yeah, some people find this freaky, so. Yeah, and the other one right there. Honestly, the joints are articulating very well. It's way better than I expected. I was considering locking them all into place. Or, you know, associating locations with each other, you know, essentially so all these joints would bend with one motor. But I wanted that fine control. I'm not sure why. It felt like it deserved to have it. I will likely be redoing the hand at some point. Let's see if I can get these motors to go. Yeah, just pushing them back, you can hear the motors going themselves. I also found that it was important for when using fishing line to pick one that's fairly elastic. You can still get very decent tautness with it. Like this guy's pretty strong here, but you want the elasticity just so you can have much like with your muscles on your fingers, that you bend it and you kind of feel that it kind of wants to flex out and it wants to spring out. Same thing there. Again, this is kind of the setup here. Okay, popped off. Now you get the idea. This is the setup for the internal of the arm. Program is essentially the same. I haven't done any of that yet. All these wires are just going to have their own motors. Chances are I might even... Oh, that's a good idea. I might put some on the inside and then some reverse so that the things come on the outside. And then I'll run the cabling back through here. Back through the arm. Maybe cutting some holes. Tell me what you guys think about the design and what you think I should do with the design. I will be intending to put the mantis blade in here as well. So I want to keep everything here about on the sides before I start to print that mantis blade. Also, if you notice, I thinned out the arm a whole lot compared to my first run, which was mostly just kind of like a test run to see what was going on. Do I have it next to me? I have the doors from it. The doors on that guy were fairly big. I took the hinges off that to do the modifications to do to this one and do some testing. Here it is. This is the original one. Far thicker. A lot more room for these motors, ironically, that can be embedded in them. But it did not feel right to have so many of those motors in one spot. The hand can be swapped over fairly easily. I'm thinking of actually putting this on the back of the arm, the door, as opposed to the form. Again, I'll be using I've added better leads to my muscle sensor, and I'll probably be using those for this. And you can see my motor control video for the details and how to use those. Anyways, this video is running pretty long already. I'll let you guys, comment below.